Alrighty. Hey everyone, welcome to Granblue Radio. This is episode number 315, coming at the beginning of the 9th year of Granblue Fantasy. Like, this is a rarity, DJ. We're doing this during maintenance, which is I think never happened before,
It has not.
and it is specifically on the anniversary. So we got a good timing. It's good timing and bad timing. It means we can't go into the game and look at the announcements, but let's just
You have
look at the
Twitter.
announcements. Oh man, how well did you recover after the stream ended at what? Like, you went to sleep around 6 a.m. on that Saturday, right?
Something like that. I got mad at that Platinum Trinity sweep is in the game.
That's her sweep.
For Platinum, yeah. Not for Anila.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like I did not think that was a sweep.
It's not a sweep because you see a soft knockdown.
Oh, okay. Because I was just like, who played Platinum? It was nephew, not nephew. Who was that kid? Shoot. Uh, that one kid from the East Coast, and then Shay played Platinum. Anyway, sorry, that's a side thing. Um, yeah. It ruined me for a few days, the whole not sleeping thing. Um, but I'm recovered and ready to talk about the few things that were announced there that we should talk about today, as opposed to in a couple weeks when they're implemented. So we're in maintenance right now, and after maintenance is back up, we've got a few of these balance changes coming, and we've got a whole lot of things that we may want to buy. So, um, all right, DJ, who's wearing it best for the 9th anniversary, Galleon or Poseidon?
Poseidon.
Yeah,
Because he's actually wearing a shirt now.
people were like, "What? How does this man get smexier with a shirt on?" It's like, yeah, that's just how it works.
A close makes man.
Clothes do make the man. My favorite thing about this look for Galleon is not this version of Galleon, but because we have the plush Galleon, there's a bunch of plush Galleons being drawn in this blindfold. It's
Look,
so
she's just a
good.
near automata character.
Yeah, well, become as gods. It's true. Become as Galleons. I'm good with that. Um, so yeah, we've got those outfit sets coming. We've got Alex and Grimnir's outfits. I actually didn't. I don't think I picked up either of these. I just like their current outfits a lot. So, but I am definitely going to pick up both Poseidon and Galleon's outfits this year. These are aimed pretty well at me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's talk a little bit about the 9th anniversary draw set. So, as you can see, it goes up to Holiday 2022 and the end of 2021. So there's Fedial on there, there's Holiday Katura, there's Summer Vikala, some of the more popular characters in GBF in this picture. Uh, who are you picking up?
Uh, what's her name? The Savior Dalmor.
Savior of Dalmor, the actual one, so Halloween Florence.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. That is fair. Uh, I'm torn between Summer Magisa to pair her with Manamel and just do crazy skill damage things. Um, Halloween Kukuru is on the list. Holiday Couture is on the list. I have to figure it out. There's a long list that I need to sort through. But yeah, this is one of those ones that I also don't miss each year. We've got, but things that I do think that I can get away with skipping is Star Premium when we have the ones that have like the limited characters in them, the seasonal ones. So it's like Fire, Water, Earth, or Wind, Light, Dark, and it's just like, all right, Summer Magi says tempting, but like I'm just gonna pick. if
I'm
I
gonna go Wind Light Dark.
well, you can get both if you want to, but yeah, Wind, Light, Dark is it's a good selection. It's a good selection. There's like probably going to be Halloween Vein in there, both of the Halloween ones from this year. Dark's got Smagisa, and yeah, that's a very very strong selection over there. Over here in Water, it's like Water Earth. I already went for I sparked for Summer Vikala. I ticket traded for Summer Clarice, and so this is full of landmines over on this side. Summer Medusa I got for free during free rolls last year, and so it's like there's a lot of the really good characters in Fire, Water, Earth. I'm just like, oh, I have them.
I
Anyway,
don't, so I
yeah,
have higher chances.
that's true. All right, so we'll skip this one. All right, so the next thing that we have a tier 4 class. They're going back. They're not making another tier 5 quite yet. They're letting us digest Mana Diver, and they're going back to a class that is V2 focused, and that comes out later today. So it's Sword Katana, just like both Crusaor and Glorybringer. And it has nothing to do with either of these classes.
It's a tier 4.
It's a tier 4 and it's a V2. It's very V2 focused. There's a few things that we can't really judge until we actually see how it works, because the wording on this is very, very interesting. So, in order to make this class full auto friendly in V2, there are a couple of its skills that can only be activated while an omen is up, and it is a cancelable omen. So this class does actual nothing in V1 a lot of the time. So its first ability is an 800% damage nuke, and then the very, very fuzzily worded, make the omen easier to break.
Cool. How? We'll find out.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, and then there's
And something about a unique stack.
a unique stack of buff, which matters a little bit later. All right, cool. Its first EMP skill is it gives you a buff that is you when you dodge, you do a gigantic nuke and gain 2 stacks, along with actually being a nuke. We'll have to figure out how well that works later. This is one of those where we don't know how good it is until later. The next one, it gives you straight up 30% FC gauge.
That's pretty good. That's Seaphon number.
That is the Seaphon number. It's actually having this around is huge. We don't know the cooldowns or anything, but like, it also gives your entire team meter based on your Yamato buff level.
Oh, the cooldowns on this is gonna matter a lot.
A lot. But 30. So on Seaphon, it's what? What is it as a cooldown for his like mega nuke plus that? gbf.wiki/Seaphon. It is a 5-turn cooldown for his 30% FC gauge.
Yeah, and his is pretty good.
Yeah, his mega good. All right, and then the last EMP skill is the gigantic nuke number. So it's 3 hits that total up to 40x damage as a skill.
So just like Grandpa.
Just like Alethea.
It's just a big bag damage.
It says cancel the current omen as long as it's cancelable. It needs the Yamato buff at 8 or higher, and
it can't be recast.
It cannot be recast, yeah, and it can only be cast while an omen is active. I think I already mentioned that, but it's like, so the first omen that you find when you've all right, so you gain these stacks by breaking omens, by casting your skill 1, and being attacked and dodging while in this first EMP over here.
Yeah, Fatal Chain, successfully canceling Omen.
Mm-hmm. And so basically, once you've canceled like 3 omens, the next omen just gets auto-canceled by this once. That seems really cool. We'll find out how useful it is in a little bit. But then there's the support. So every time that you FC or you break the omen, you get 2 of that stack level, and you get attack specs up for that unique buff passively, along with it unlocking some other things. And then based on stance attack and incanted attack, which is one of those things that you have to go into the help section to actually understand which is a stance attack and which one is an incanted. Basically,
stance is yellow, incanted is purple.
Yep, pretty much. After a stance attack, then you get assassin the next turn.
Yeah.
And an incanted attack, you get 20% FC after it.
So this is to mitigate the fact that you messed up your cancels.
Hmm.
To be fair, a stance attack and a kinetic attacks are possible to not be able to be canceled.
Yeah. And
Certain
so,
bosses have this,
yeah, and it's like,
like Lindworm.
and the thing is that I enjoy the fact that this class exists. Some people were complaining, it's like, it doesn't do anything in V1. It's like, yeah, that's fine. When's the last time they released a V1 fight that is relevant? Like, the event stuff is pretty trivial for people who are in V2 now. And the last time that they released a V1 fight was Anima Animus Core, I think.
The only real V1 fights that matter is United Fight 200.
Yeah, and there are plenty of classes in the game that can fight along those axes very easily. And so, it's like if you want a class that does those, then the next tier 5 is going to do just fine. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, this has potential. It is an interesting entry into V2. Relic Buster is the easy entry into Tier 4, so I don't know like if very many newer players will actually be able to pick this up very much. Like, we can go into that slide from the stream where it shows how many people have each Tier 4 unlocked, and like Relic Buster is easily twice as much as anybody else
because it's free.
because it's free. Let me go find that one. Oh, here it is. Found it. Here you go, Relic Buster. You have twice as many Relic Busters as Robin Hoods.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you just give it to you for an event. You don't have to
it's
be unlocking tiers 4 already yet.
yeah, it's
You
just
just
free.
trade in the treasure.
Yeah. And then this one is standard, so you have to pick up 20 distinctions, you spend 4,000 CP, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
normal.
and it is going to get a katana class champion weapon. Um,
Ooh, that'll be fun.
we haven't had a new class champion weapon in a while. It's basically been since Relic Buster.
What about the dancer upgrade?
The Masquerade upgrade, that one. I can't remember when that one came in, so I'll have to look that one up in a second. All right, but anyway, so that's coming in, and it's not like exciting, but there's going to be elements of it that get put into future Class 5, and it's also once again good training wheels for V2. So, you know, we'll see what happens with this one, but I enjoy
Just
its
increase the
existence.
faded chain.
Yeah. So we've got the boost system for new classes. I'm not sure what treasures are going to be used to increase this, so I can't talk about that. We'll talk about that next week.
Oh, that's
We
actually in this update.
That is in this update.
And it's supposed to be in waves too,
Yes,
right?
the first wave is Berserker, Apsaris, Kengo, Necromancer. And the Kengo ones, by the way, are specifically trying to make Kengo strong on a different axis than its existing one. So
You guys translated those abilities, didn't you?
we did. So let's go ahead and find my translation for that. Or actually, this one's Pocky. So thank you, Pocky, for doing this with me. Here we go. Um, do, 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 do.
All right, I found your guys' list starting with Berserker.
Is it the Twitter one? If so, then link it and
Yeah,
I'll
it's the
bring it
Twitter
up.
one.
Okay.
Well,
Shoot.
I'm looking at the you guys' site. Give me a sec.
Okay. Thank you. Uh, but anyway, so we'll start with Berserker. So each of these levels gives you like different boosts. The Berserker one is interesting because Berserker is one of the ones on this list, is the first one on this list that actually has its tier 5 already. So they're trying to encourage you to go back to Berserker, but they're also doing this with full knowledge that this stuff can get used on Viking. And then on
Well,
the
one of the things
next,
to remember is that when you have the mastery of tier 5, you can't the mastery affects tier 4s and below.
that's true. And so it's like here's Berserker in wave 1, wave 2 we'll have Sage has already gotten its tier 5. Tier 3 Spartan has gotten its tier 5 already. Then Warlock over here at the end this one. Um and those are the tier 5s we have already, right? One,
We
two,
have like four
three,
tier
four.
fives.
Yeah, that's four. So they're doing this with the knowledge that there's actually been a couple of reasons to forego doing Viking things and going back to do Berserker things instead. So this is sort of catering to that. Um, the number one reason that I have found so far that people go back to Berserker instead of Viking is to um, use weapons that reduce you to 0% charge bar gain, because the Viking ability gives you 100 meter. The Berserker ability gives you
It's
instant
the
CA
instant
standby.
CA.
Yeah, so Ereshkigal noises, yeah, pretty much. But it applies to a few other classes as well. Not classes, but elements and weapons. Um, Mostly Fire Berserker because you have an Axe Opus, and Light Berserker with the Sword Opus. But yeah, Ereshkigal noises as well. Um, but there's like stat bonuses on here, so you get 12% damage cap up on your MC, sure. Um,
Yo, chain burst damage cap though. I always love that.
yeah, it actually adds up. Chain burst damage cap. It becomes noticeable at some point. You're like, when did that do so much damage? Um, all right, so the first new ability on Berserker, Ferocity Roar. It says based on the number of axe and sword specialty characters. Actually,
Gain
yeah,
MA and
they,
self chaser.
yeah, self element chaser. So they're
Man,
trying,
I wish there was just so many sword characters in this fantasy game.
or axe characters who just hit really hard. Yeah. Berserker with like Threo, just giving her even more chasers if this works.
I thought it was the self though.
It's self element, so it basically means that whatever element they are, it grants that element chaser to them.
Oh, because you translated as self element to self.
Whoops, self element chaser. Might be. Um, all right, so then there's Beast Fang, which is attack defense down, um, deals damage and raises damage cap. Um, this skill activates during Ulfhedin, um, when you do normal attacks. So it's a skill that auto casts, but only when you're in the Berserker mode that cannot use abilities, which is hilarious and fun. Like I actually occasionally enjoyed using Ulfhedin because specifically it makes full auto faster because you press less buttons, which is no longer going to be relevant when they do the full auto change, but still, I like Ulfhedin mode occasionally. Um, and then the last one is like Berserker's Blood, where it gives you a special Berserker's Blood buff. It says each turn, when you CA, it consumes 25% of your HP and gives you massive CA specs up, or massive attack specs up. Sorry, not CA specs. It's specifically attack specs up on your next attack. And then when that happens, if you run out of HP, then the buff falls off. That one I don't
Okay.
know. We'll figure it out. That one is the one that is the least like straightforward, and we're not sure how well it'll go. But these are fun ones to add even to Viking. I like this. Apsaris, I hate Apsaris so much, DJ. Look at all this BS on the screen. It's so hard to translate.
Oh,
Hockey was
I'm sorry.
complaining to me.
I love this class.
I enjoy the class. I hate translating it. So if you'd like to read off, DJ, just it's a
Um,
lot.
so 3,500 attack, 1,500 HP, 10% CA bar gain. That's pretty good.
Yes.
7% debuff success rate, 12% damage, skill damage, and 5% skill damage cap. You're gonna need that because a lot of skill damage from skill 1 is really good.
All right.
First EX skill, 5-hit nuke, inflicts attack defense down, number of hits increase based on axe spears and in the grid, maximum to 15 hits. So like 3 weapons. I'm not entirely sure. We'll find
Well,
out.
it scales up to 10 because it'll be one extra per. And so, say in a dark grid where you have 5 axes, then it'll be 10 hits. Is my
Okay.
understanding of this. And so, for each extra spear or axe that are in there, it'll do another hit.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Next up.
Second one, gain 1 stack of unique buff each turn, maximum 5. Each stack increases damage dealt. Buff levels reset on taking damage, can't be recast.
So, there's a version of this where it's like mic skills or something like that in Luchador, where you just gain hype every turn until you get hit. But like this is way better because it just keeps happening as opposed to having to recast mic skills every time. So that's cool.
I mean,
We'll
you
see
just turn
how.
into old 6.
Yeah, pretty much. It is annoying that Apsaris has no way to keep dodging, but well, actually, there is a way to give someone else your hostility. I think in Apsaris was it? There's that
I'm
no,
looking it up.
there's that weird sub that it has, the Apsaris. Like you can sub for the rest of your
You can
team.
mirror image with
Okay.
the Springwater robe.
There's like a Nirvana looking one or something like that. It's been so long since I looked at
Dance
that
of
skill.
Zeal.
Okay, and if that's you get hit instead of your allies, or it's whoever
The ally
has
with
the
the
most
highest
HP?
remaining HP takes 1 ally attacks in your place, lasts for 3 turns. Have
Highest HP.
8.
Okay. Oh, that's still not worth it, even for this. All right. All right, and then this last one is your own hostility goes up. You get counter on dodge or damage 5 times. It cannot be recast. Um, and with spear, it gives you assassin, and with axe, it gives full force counter, and it starts on a 6-turn lockout. It's like this one, we have to understand like how long this goes because what this this just
It can't be recast, you know?
does that mean that it's on for the rest of the fight?
It was on for the rest of the fight. I'm axe main handing.
Yeah, for full force counter for the rest of the fight.
Yeah,
That stuff is sick.
you're hitting 5 times every
With a
turn.
yeah. All right. So yeah, this one we'll have to go loop back to just also because this third ability is so like confusingly worded to me, and also like duration matters so much on this one. None of these have cooldown numbers or duration numbers.
Yep, we'll find out next week.
Yeah. We'll find out in a few hours for us. But anyway, Kengo. So Kengo gets CA damage cap up 5% as one of its big things, 12% CA damage. It gets triple attack and double attack. Um,
That's
I'll
all
be
right.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like it feels like Kengo either single attacks or triple attacks. I can't remember the last time it's single attack just because of it's double attacked. I mean, just because of the way that the buff that it gives itself works.
It attacks.
It
I'm just Leo looping.
you also attack on the no more doubt turn. You know.
Oh, I don't notice that. I'm refreshing.
All right. So anyway, these are all a lot of these are very bow focused. Try and bring Kengo to another direction. So here's one that says it gives you a dispel. It does AoE. It does an AoE nuke, which Kengo had previously not really had an easy in class way to clear things like mirror image, which is a weakness of being in the first slot all the time and CAing a lot. But it also gives you 30% meter, and you can only use it when you have a bow. Um, Meanwhile, so it's
We'll
a
see what the
button.
cooldowns on that one is.
Yeah. The
That
next
one
one,
matters a lot.
yeah. The next one, so it does an 8x nuke. It gives you a special unique buff, and during that unique buff, you get Chaser of your own element. Um, when you when you do normal attacks, then you deal an MC's element nuke, and you delay. So this is a huge encouragement to attack normally, which is not something that they've had for very often. And
I
then
can
this
see
last,
a lot
oh,
of good uses for that, especially in like fights like
hard
Belial that punish you for actively using a real
delay,
delay.
right? And also, being able to delay multiple times off of a single ability is very powerful as well. And then this last one, it gives you a special buff that says there is a chance um, each turn. Let's see here. Actually,
You gain a
if you
unique
could read it
buff,
off.
chance to counter, dodge 3 times, amplify counter damage, gain 10% charge meter on counter, and during unique buff, do not deal one foe
Normal attack.
attacks.
Yeah,
Buff ends on second press of skill.
that's right. This one, I'm like these kinds of abilities have not often been good. They've been making them good recently.
Yeah, well, I wish they, go back and change mirrors.
Yeah. The problem with this one is that as a counter where you don't attack, it has nothing that draws hate to you, draws hostility to you, so you just have to press this with substitute, and substitute isn't up as often as you'd want it to with this kind of ability.
At least you're allowed to CA according to the wording.
Yep, that's true. So we'll have to see on that one because as of right now, this moment, the Kengo skills are No More Doubt for offense and Into Thin Air from Samurai for defense. And there are no other skills that matter on that class, basically.
I can use this as my CA looping because I'm not one foe attacking.
hmm Yeah, we'll see.
Like I can just get rid of No More Doubt at that point.
hmm All right, and then Necromancer over here. Necromancer is a class that had a very funny history where it's
It's gonna
like,
get stunks up when you can turn off skill 1.
yeah, when you can not actually have to cast and then uncast skill one. All right, so the relevant buffs on it, you get defense up over here on level 3. You get CA rate, like meter gain up 10%, 7% CA damage, and then 12% damage cap up. That damage cap up is the same as on Berserker, isn't it? It is! All right, anyway. So here's Oculus Felis. It gives all of your teammates a shield. We don't know how strong that shield is. It gives 1x mirror image and armored. This is a very strong defensive button, like very all around good. It soaks up damage, it invalidates a single attack, and then what actually does get through is reduced. It takes 5 of your MP to cast. Okay, sure. Next up, we've got um, a special buff, and it says at the end of your turn, if you have more than 50% meter, it uses 30% of it, so very like Halloween Lich Tech style, and you get 5 MP. It grants you Chaser of the MC's element, and it heals your team in exchange for that 30 meter. And
That's pretty cool.
yeah, as this is also partially inspired by like Mana Diver, where Mana Diver has the same like eat meter, get thing, get extra bonuses too. And so it turns Necromancer into like mini Mana Diver, where instead of a Manatura, you have just Cat, and you get 5 MP, which is an important resource for doing things like Orcus Felis up there. And passive Chaser is one of the things that people have liked about Necromancer since it was implemented. And then all right, this
Yeah,
last
the other
one's.
thing is
Oh, go
that
ahead.
like I believe like CAing it consumes your entire MP, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so this turns off your CA, which is great because you don't want CA if you're trying to build all this mana to chaser everything.
hmm And then we have Scratcher, and this is another one where we have to look at the numbers that are not listed here because it says here everybody gets triple attack one time and Chaser one time. It costs 15 MP and cannot be recast. It's like what? It's
Uh,
it's like
hmm.
Dragon Break, but like weird. I'm not sure how to think about this one.
A one-time use Percival skill 3.
Something like that. So anyway, Then the bulk of what we're going to be talking about for the rest of this is these character rebalances.
Oh
Most
wait,
of
hold on.
what's up?
You could start off at 15 because Cat's Eye.
That's true. You can cat's eye and convert into MP. I'm not sure.
Well,
Yeah.
Cat's Eye is a support skill.
Okay.
Yeah, so Cat's Eye you just start the battle off with 15 NP.
hmm I wonder. I wonder. Will require a bit of Granblue science. All right, so we've got 10 characters getting their rebalance today. The next 10 will be done in April, I believe it was. But we've got 2 of the Earth ones, 4 Wind characters, and 4 Dark characters. Which do you want to start with, DJ? Because there's a few interesting ones and a few uninteresting ones that we can
I mean,
basically
you start
gloss
you.
over.
I'm going off your page, so Earth.
All right, so let's go ahead and grab the Earth rebalances. 1 second, I had that URL a second ago. Do, 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 do. All right, here are my notes on this whole thing. All right, so here's Bale. Um, he gets 3 new things. One, he now gets to Resonance. Resonance 5 is now his max instead of 3. When he gets to 5, one of the bonuses is that Rock Out activates twice, and then his Adad Edge activates additional times based on how many resonance he has. Cool. Just
Yep,
means.
that's pretty good. That actually lines it up with how Satyr works now
Mm-hmm.
because it activates more times depending on her stacks.
Yeah. So it brings him more in line with the other primal pals, and so that's good. That's a good thing. It's a good change. Um, Notably though, like the other Earth character doesn't do anything with tuning, so he doesn't really like the tuning change doesn't really hit Earth much. All right, sure. Like as of this round of rebalance, wind is the only element that actually like benefits from tuning levels on the enemy. So we'll have to see how that goes later. All right, next up,
Mhm.
Halicena, a character who has needed a lot of help for a long time because it seems like every time they make her better, they also make a
A
boss
better
that's
character.
or they make a boss that specifically like doesn't care about how she got better. It just lowers her stacks again. All right, so right now they're adding more death, divine death saw of death. So her insane style um, and Psycho's Path CAs now do additional hits of damage based on her stacks. Um, it's a
Cool.
simple damage buff.
Yeah.
Um, her Your Toast does 6 hits of damage, which matters because she gets more benefit out of things that make her do additional supplemental damage. Um, Brings her a little more in line with 2023. Say Goodbye changes a lot. So
So before it was a 25% chance for 50% crit hit and
mm,
30% TA.
and now, so it gives her the TA with before she goes 5-star. She's always gonna TA now, and then it uncaps her damage 1 time, but it now requires Divine Death Saw of Death 5, and then the plus plus version also grants her Chaser based on her current hype, and her kit includes hype now as of the most recent rebalance. And she gets amplified normal attacks. So you get a, a much bigger reward for actually being at Divine Death Saw of Death on Halicena, given that her CA will do extra damage based on that, and she will give herself uncapped autos with big numbers at 5.
Yeah, her best friend's still gonna be Diantha though, because the way her hype works is that it's high tension on CA.
Mm,
which ends upon taking damage. So you can't rely on that sometimes
right. And
because she
notably,
only has the two dodges that she can refill every 8 turns.
and then also her guaranteed triple attack. She has like very little to do to give herself like more multi attack and meter.
Yeah. So you'll want to have like Deonta with her because Deonta can also just fill her hype regardless of the high
Mm-hmm.
tension,
That's fair. Okay, so
and
yeah, I
also the
mean,
shield, and then
but the
it's
good
pretty
thing
good.
is that this feels better because there's an actual reward for protecting Halasena that is much more visible than before. Before it was
Yeah,
just like now she triple attacks a lot. Okay,
and she doesn't go all the way down to 0 when she gets hit.
yeah. Um, Selphira looks like she's gonna be a really, really good character after this
She was
rebalance.
already good. It's just there's just really good characters overall.
Right. So her new CA resets her blue buttons, which is insane
Yeah,
because they
it
gave
used to
her,
just be revitalized.
and it gives her a second blue button in the rebalance. So um, all Improvista is now blue. It's a blue that does a nuke, by the way.
Yeah, so they
Um,
got rid of her heal and
mhm,
the end cooldown for casters, other skills.
mhm. So yeah, it's a wind nuke, one tuning, stacking multi attack down, and then when she has tuning 5 or higher, it activates twice, which um, is, I mean, it's strong. It's going to reset every time that she CAs, and she's going to start casting it twice every time she CAs.
And that's more tuning, and that's more upkeep on all those.
Hmm. And then the other one that refers to tuning, her support, one of her support abilities, now says when enemy tuning is at 7 or higher, deal wind damage to every foe on a normal attack, and heal all allies. That's Aaron, isn't it? It's the Aaron
That we did
Inglatiate.
discuss this. It is Aaron.
Yeah, okay. Um, and then Skyfaring Musician, that also was reworked. Um, she gains more CA meter based on the number of harp allies in the party. Cool.
Yeah, that's actually viable in wind.
Yeah, and the more meter she gets, the more often she CAs, which means that she casts the blue skills more often, which means
Yeah, so
that, yeah.
the number on this used to be just 15% when she's not debuffed, and that was it.
Hmm. But yeah, this character is going to be extremely strong, in my opinion. Like, she was already good, but she is now extremely strong. Like, people were already using her out of kind of desperation in Siegfried for just having a blue button that has a fairly low cooldown.
Now you have two.
Now you have two. This character breaks the the omen requirement on Siegfried every 4 turns with regularity. That's awesome. It's a good tool to have on top of the blue buttons actually being good on their own. Lena basically only came up when people wanted an in-wind resurrect. So what have they done with her? They
They
moved.
moved the Spirit Blossom to the base CA. And now that they did that, her 5-star CA now casts her heal.
Hmm. Um, she also gets a dispel and toxicosis on a blue button. And she actually cares about toxicosis, although it is kind of just a legacy change because she used to look for poison and drain them, and now she just looks for toxicosis and drains them.
With her second skill,
Hmm.
or second passive, yeah.
Yeah. And then she also has the reduced turn-based damage taken that they've been putting on more and more healer type characters because it's another thing that they've been doing to pressure people in the age of like 50% defense up from your grid and stuff like that. Is that it's like, well, you got a timer, you got a ticking time bomb. Agastya has it. Um, Diaspora has it. Amusingly, a lot of Earth bosses don't have it, so this is a little less powerful against bosses so far. But it's it's there, and someday we'll be like, oh, hey,
It's still better than her old ability, which was 50% boost to debuff resistance on her.
Yeah, that's a thumbs
That's a
down.
very not noticeable thing, like
Yeah.
90% of the time.
Neon, she gets tuning on one of her
Everything it's
buttons.
tuning.
Well, it's the 3 levels of
You know, not
Defondu. Yeah.
yeah.
It makes her work better with Sulfira, who already worked well with Neon, and now works even better with Neon. So cool.
It's not like you were not gonna hit the fondue anyways.
And Neon's already a crazy good character, so this basically just makes her better at synergizing with characters who aren't just the normal monsters. So neat. All right.
Yeah, so it was literally just a tuning change
Yep.
because tuning
Nez.
already existed on Defondu.
So Nezha. So they promised that they would make him ignore foes' fire resistance, which they gave him the Primal Pals passive, where based on the number of primal allies, including himself, and it also counts the back as opposed to before when it only counted main party. Uh, Step 1, which is always on because he's one, ignore the enemy's fire resistance, which is a damage buff because all of that fire damage he did that was naturally reduced by the rules of the game is now treated normally. Um, Previously, basically, that had only really done work against 3 of the non-elemental bosses that you could bring him to. So like he was good at Blue Sea, he was good at Beelzebub. I hesitate to call him good at Belial, but now you can actually bring that against Earth bosses, and it matters. Next up, he gets attack up, guaranteed triple attacks, defense up, and then CA meter gain up. But the
Yeah,
first
those
one
are
is
all solid.
those are all solid. You can put up a pretty damn strong like all primal party in Wind. It's like Nezha, one of the Grimnirs, like Wind Yggdrasil. So it's very, very strong. Tiamat. All right. And then the last thing that they added to him is that his Tailwind Kindle at Divine Might 5, which we've noted with his EMP ability, is much easier than it was before. It also grants every single fire ally, every single ally a fire chaser.
Yep, and he cast this on the CA. Remember that.
hmm And so, what is it? 2 CAs later with Divine Might 5, unless he happens to take fire damage, but just ignore that one. He just starts casting this all the time. Like, yeah, free chaser for the team. Yeah. This character had already gotten up, like we've said, with like close to around where Randall and Alea sit, and so I predict this character is very good. Anything else on that count, or should we
Nope.
move on to the dark characters? All right, the Zazali boy. Uh, Scapegoat. He used to get mirror image from it. Now he gets unchallenged one time and he gets a self heal. Good, good change. Um, his Merciless Doom. So Merciless Doom still costs 20 meter, which means it's still not a very good skill. But at least it gives light attack down now. Okay.
So light attack down, dark fence down, and blind.
hmm Um, the damage on Thanatos Bane is increased and it now interacts with Toxicosis.
It inflicts psychosis instead of poison, I guess.
Toxicosis on Azazel does not actually matter. It matters on other characters. So this is one of those that you have to look at other characters for. Malice Wing, we really don't know what this is. So this one we have to go back to. It just says gain Malice Wing. Can't be recast.
Yeah,
Okay.
the old one was that he gained 70% dark attack and 20% light defense down
hmm
for 3 turns.
Yeah. So if it just takes that same thing and makes it permanent, then it's whatever.
Then
If
he's
there's
the
more
AO.
to it, yeah. All right. But then here are the big ones. These are actually really big changes here. Um, so Brazen Wings, it now says low max HP, CA specs up. His incoming light damage is capped at 5,000. Cool. Mutinous
In Light
Hellfire,
Switch, it's pretty good.
yeah. And then when he's targeted by a foe, he casts Thanatos Bane up here to give Toxicosis. So he
Oh, so
gets
he's
a little.
Wamu.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Whamu, Whamdis, but
Except, you have less health instead of more health.
yes. I but yeah, this one will need a lot of testing, especially whatever Malice Wing is. So moving on to Tanya, my girl. Um, so her old CA used to give her some meter and two knives. Now they've just said, okay, it just activates her Shadow Art skill, her skill 3, which gives her the meter and two knives, but it also gives her the important things for her kit to work, which are dodge rate up and hostility up again. So she much more consistently has dodge and hostility, and since
Just
dodging
by
is what,
CAing.
yeah, and as long as she can maintain some kind of consistent cadence, that she has dodge up more often, she that means she delays more often. She does the passive reactive nuke more often. So it's a big thing to do on her kit.
Yeah, because it used to the numbers on skill 3 was 6 turns cooldown, 2 turns active.
Yeah. So have as long as you can put this up every like say 3 or 4 turns, um, which is actually a lot because Tanya doesn't multi-attack very well. Then you still get much more uptime than before. Uh, and then Toxic Nails now has a Toxicosis, Poison, and Delay on it. So there's more reason to hit this button. And then her passive, Eyes Ahead, everyone. So she is now a dagger character. She officially deals 2 hit random damage on her one foe attacks, and she gets multi-attack based on how much toxicosis the enemy has. So
Yeah, she
it's
actually works with it.
yeah, it's significant improvements to Tanya. I really like this one on one of my
Okay,
favorite
note, here's
characters.
what her old passive was. 30% chance of 3% dark crit rate for your dark allies when you're fighting a poisoned enemy.
No thanks. And then here's another big one. Big changes coming to the Black Knight. Um, so her CA now reduces skill CDs by a turn. And
Good,
then
because her CDs were only slightly long.
mhm. And then Sword of Illusion says reduce CDs by a turn still. And then her next quad spell casts twice.
Well,
Um,
that one was always there.
that one was always there. The big thing though, so quad spell itself, it just says damage and damage cap increased. That's whatever. We're gonna skip ahead to Sword of Despair, which has been reworked to say ignore enemy fire, water, earth, and wind resistance. And it can crit no matter what element the enemy is, and then the
And then the same thing.
previous effect. But that is a huge damage buff to the character by making her cast quad spell more often, but also making it meaningful when she casts quad spell. And then like the meaningful part, like sure, the double delay and the whatchamacallit, the dispel were good utility, but that utility is you know available on characters that did more damage than her. This is a huge increase to her damage.
Granted, the actual numbers on quad spell are still kind of garbage, but
We'll see what happens with how much the damage and damage cap go up. And then
yeah, because
the
right now it's 200k per hit.
yeah. So then she got the Traumarai slash Vajra, whatever the dog bark thing is, where her Petrify is a useful button against enemies that are immune to Petrify by delaying. That's good.
So we
That's
have like
important.
3 delays on one character.
hmm She, like these two girls are my delay machines. Like I'm a fan. Anyway, and then the last thing is you may have noticed if you're a Black Knight player that she no longer removes debuffs from herself by CAing. That is because she is immune to them now.
With small caveats of
Self-inflicted ones and Godsight.
Godsight.
Yeah, yeah. This is good stuff. And then here's the last one for the rebalances. Here's Vania. Um, they're they seem simple, and then there's a bit in here that we need to know about. So Charm Throb. her blue skill, her third one.
She no
Always
longer
get
needs to consume the drop in order to get the guaranteed TA.
yes. And then the thing is that they knew that some people would stop pressing this button because they'd wanted the drop. They are now giving you a reason to turn it back on once the full auto change happens. Because when you use the Vampire drop, she double strikes. Does it double strike for the entire 3 turns? We don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
But if it's 3 turns of double strike, yeah, I'll use a drop for that. And then the last thing here, her passive changes to she always has drain on her attack, one foe attacks and her CAs. And then she
AKA
will,
she's a vampire.
yeah, and then she will
AKA
deal,
also her last skill was garbage because it's 10% crit chance.
yeah. Um, you say probably just 1 turn of double strike. They've let you consume things for multiple turns of double strike before. All right. So Selfish Royal, she gets a drain on one foe attacks. We already said that. But then at the end of the turn, based on the number of times a dark ally drained this turn, then she deals a hit of dark damage. So on the turn that she double strikes, that's 2. And then there are actually a decently high number of ways to give your team double strike. Not double strike. There are a decent number of ways to give your team double strike in dark. But anyway, the actual thing that I meant to say was that there are multiple ways to give your team drain.
Mostly start from weapons.
Bloody Scar, Blutgang, those two. So a dagger class or a sword class. Ko, the the tank grants it to the rest of the team. Admittedly, he doesn't do it
He
himself.
doesn't drain at a certain point.
Yeah, because he stops attacking. So it's not full synergy, but it is, everybody else who attacks gives her a hit. And so, yeah, that part is really interesting. Like it works on a different level as any other character. It makes her unique. It's very flavorful given the whole vampire thing. I like it.
Uh, Lady Grey Halloween can give the entire team drain on a skill.
Hmm.
It also comes with Death Grace and meter. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, looking outside of limited weapons and
Hmm.
Bloody Scar, there's not that many other ways actually.
Um, if you have an axe as Apsaris, you can grant the entire team drain. It's a pretty obscure one, but someone pointed it out to me.
Well, that works because you're playing dark.
Yeah. So Apsaris with an axe can in fact give drain on what skill is it? Swan Song. It's a 3 out of 9 though, so it's not a good one.
That's kind of not great.
No. It is a thing that can happen. It is not a good thing that I recommend. Anyway, so there's that.
So just
Um,
hold a dagger or a sword in your hand.
yes, this is the important part there. Um, let's see here. So these stickers, there's an annual infusion of new stickers to the rupee shop. I highly recommend this one of the Derpy Divine Generals. That's the main one that I recommend in here. Maybe the Sorry I'm Late from Lamretta, but anyway. New filters is important, um, but it's not something that we need to discuss. They just make it easier to find your crap. This one I actually am really happy about because I hate sorting through the Arcarum shop because it just keeps getting more stuff dumped into other, and so I am very happy with the recategorizations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's good. And then Um, so the cage change, or the cradles, or whatever you want to call these things, we don't know their official thing. These things come with any grand weapon. It does not. It's unlike moons. Even the first one will give one. and they are used to awaken older limited like Grand Series weapons. So
So what's in the list?
so these are the ones that have fallen way out of the game. So they are not necessarily the oldest because Ixaba's not on here, and that's one of the oldest. But we have Benetia, Purifying Thunderbolt, Murglace, Blue Sphere, AK-4A, Mirror Blade something or other, Mirror Blade Shard,
Mirror Shard.
Eternal Love, Reunion, your friend the Gambantane,
It's as much as my friend as Murglace.
yeah, Certificus, um, Blutgang, and the Parazonium. So you use these things and you can give them awakening, and the awakening is actually pretty significant. You
It
don't need
also
to
depends on
awaken
which
them.
weapon it is.
Yeah, you don't need to awaken them very far. There's only 4 levels, and they start at 1
Yeah, it's a total of 4 gauges.
to get them up to 4. All right, and then with all of these in mind, so here are the things that you get. For attack awakening, it's 40% attack and 5% normal attack damage cap.
The ones that can get this are Benedia, Purifying Thunderbolt, Murglace, Blue Sphere, Blade Shard, Parazonium, Certificus, and Gomontane.
Um, Certificus, sure, but Galmontane is definitely getting put in, can get put into um, grids that auto attack a lot, so that's a welcome one there. Parazonium also encourages you to auto attack, like 1 full attack, so that's a pretty welcome one. Um, I'm not sure about the fire ones right now, but it is good for on say Purifying Thunderbolt, which doesn't have an attack skill, to have
Yep.
attack. I think that's the only one on this list that doesn't have an attack skill, isn't it? Or does, let's see.
All these other have attack skills.
Yeah, so for Purifying Thunderbolt specifically, that's something I'm looking at. Next up, you have defense, which is 40% hit points and 20% defense. So it's
The list for
less.
that one is
Yeah.
Purifying Thunderbolt,
hmm
Murglace, AK-4A, Blute Gang, Certificus, and Love Eternal.
So Murglace is basically one of my go-tos when I just need to live, and the 30%, 35% damage cut on CA actually matters. So I haven't used it in V2 in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But having a chunk of HP, 40% HP is not insignificant. I mean, it's less than Schrodinger, for example, but the defense is higher. So I'll take that trade.
Well,
Defense,
eventually you
Murglace.
actually just hit HP cap
Yeah,
with 400. So
it's true, but this means that it works better with, say, the Wamdus umbrella as well. Like having just a flat 40% HP up is something that matters in this element. In light, if you stick that on certificate or certificus, then that kind of matters for the Luo fist. It makes it easier to hit the HP numbers on that. So it's a very good one to have around, and I can see it being used on at least 2 of these. I don't know about the Purifying Thunderbolt being one of the defensive ones though. CA, there's a CA Awakening, which is um, so it is plus 20% CA damage, plus 10% CA cap, and plus 100,000 supplemental CA damage. The 100,000
you
is,
could be Seaphon.
yeah. Um, so the CA one is actually one of the rarer ones. And it gets either on Parazonium, and Dagger classes aren't exactly your big CA fans, and this isn't really something that goes into CA. Like this is
Speaking of
mostly
Dagger
a main
classes,
hand.
Reunion,
Yeah, Reunion has CA, and then the AK-4A
which is
actually can use
in.
this.
But here's the thing: it's in an element that has a supplemental CA damage weapon.
Yeah, with the Galleon's Jaw. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. All right, moving on.
and that one can
Here's
have its own. It has EX skills, so
yeah.
you know.
Here's skill damage. Skill damage is 25%. Sorry, it's
You're right, 25%.
25% skill damage cap and 20% skill damage.
These
25% cap
weapons.
Yeah, go ahead.
are Benedia, Mirror Blade Shard, Blue Gang, Gambataine, and Love Eternal.
I can see this getting use in Love Eternal. I don't know about Gambantane or any of these other ones.
I can see it in Gambataine.
I mean, you're the expert, so please explain. For Love Eternal, I was just like, oh yeah, I'd totally put ability damage, skill damage on this thing and like make it my mana diver main hand. What about you with Gambantane?
When I have big hit nukes instead of multi-hitting nukes.
Mmm, that does make sense. Who are the big nukers like with like single or smaller numbers of hits in light?
Vera.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. Vera does tons of damage for me in Agastya, actually. Like
That
she's
does like
alive.
6 million on her third cast.
Yeah. So it's funny. I've looked at my Agastya numbers. For the 7 turns that Vera is alive, and most of those turns have damage mitigation up, she still does more damage than my support characters for who are alive for the whole time, Uni and
Yeah.
Noah. It's like, oh,
Does Light
okay.
even have other ways to get to skill damage cap?
Um, it is their proving grounds weapon, the fist.
It's
That was
kind
one.
of low on attack though,
Yes.
and also proving grounds only comes like every now and then.
This is also true. So yeah, I can see the way that Gavantane will be a skill damage awakening, like you've said. Blue, I don't know. Dark has plenty of ways to up its skill damage.
Yes, it does. It doesn't need this.
Yeah, Earth does benefit from really big nuke numbers with Alethea and a few
Grandpa,
characters like
yeah.
that, and so Mirrorblade Shard maybe it sees a little bit of a resurrection with the ability awakening. Um, Fire, let's see, it's Ushumgal. What are the other big fire like damage skill damage skill boosters?
I mean, the only one you really need is Lucian Goal.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. All right.
I have like 5.
Yeah. This is um this is one of those things where like the intent of this is to boost older limited weapons, and for at least half of these we see good uses for it, right? And so this is a positive change overall, in my opinion. Like it does a lot for those weapons.
30 Moon Light Dagger. I think that's actually overall cap.
I believe it's full. The Taming Sari should be just all cap.
Yeah, it's like 7% or something.
Should be. Taming Sari is like HP and just light damage cap. It's
Yep,
not skill cap.
7% on skill
Yeah.
15.
All right. And yeah, you can use these to get 2 more stars on a character. There's very few who would actually
You forgot
merit this.
healing.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about healing. Healing is one of those ones that gets better and better as you fight more and more things. So 30% healing cap and 10% debuff resistance. It's really just 30% healing cap. It's on blue.
Debuff is still nice to have though.
True, true. Blue sphere, which as a main hand heals you, and it before Schrodinger existed, it was used in hard content because it boosts your CAs. So now it can boost your CAs and healing, which is actually a significant thing. I don't know
Yep.
about Reunion. I don't know if this will find
Well,
Reunion's
do we have
spot.
that many good weapons for healing in wind?
Good point. Point taken. Point taken. You got me on that one.
Like I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. I can think of water off the top of my head. I can think of light off the top of my head. I can't think wind.
Hmm. I think it might be the Yggdrasil weapon. The Petite Bouquet. Yeah, boost to wind healing cap. That's not that common. The little bouquet of flowers from Yggdrasil.
I think I have 2.
I'm pretty sure I just have one. Yeah, Renault mentions that also right now the Charlotta sword is essentially a reunion but better. So having another option for union is good.
All right, I looked at wind. The other option technically is a wing of the pier.
Good old Korwa.
Yeah, it gives you great at least.
Yeah. Other things that happen after maintenance ends, we get Xenos added permanently to the game. That's positive for newer players who don't have to worry about FOMO anymore. We've had Xenos around long enough that they started running them two at a time. We've gone around enough times that every single weapon on these has its 5-star. So good, good. There's no nightmare anymore. You just maniac it and you just play it. You just play. And our favorite thing, skip. Unfortunately, it's for like the really old stuff. So like now that the Xenos are available to fight, they're making the old Ifrit and Cocytus, etc. skippable. And then we have to wait until April for the really, really important skips for this year, which are things like Bale and Granny, which are important for uh, people who still haven't upgraded their resort island, and for hosting raids that are very annoying to get these anima for, and then the Omega Impossibles. And that is what's going live after maintenance ends in
Like 2 hours from
2 hours.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Any of these that you just want to go back to and just state that you're a big fan of these or not a big fan of them?
Let's see. I'm a
Because we
big
sort
fan of the roulette.
of. I mean, yeah, you're right. I'm a fan of maybe winning a trip for Pocky to other parts of Japan. Did you watch this
Yeah, I did.
commercial yet? It's so good. So for those of you who are in the audience, there's a face here that we just hold on. Ready for it? This face right here. It's so good.
This is Haneda, right?
That is Haneda Airport.
Yeah, I'm like, these two are the mascots for TV Tokyo, so that's not TV Tokyo, Fuji TV.
Hmm.
So they have me in Haneda.
And every day for a week, they're going to be giving away um, snacks from each of these spots. So you too can win Chinsuko, which I've honestly forgotten that it's an actual snack from Okinawa. People only make dick jokes about it because of
I
its
wonder
name.
why.
Yeah, I know. Um, but yeah, just fun giveaway things. I'm a fan of fun giveaway things. I am sad that every
No
summer we don't
watermelon.
translate stupid prizes. I hope they do that again someday for the really stupid stuff, like the year's supply of watermelon. Yeah. Uh,
Did you get your result from your retweet?
I did. Well, I did it from Granblue EN, and so some people responded to that one going, "Rip."
The funny thing is, it appeared so many times in my For You timeline because of all the people like the cosplayers I follow and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it's even funnier when you see someone like it.
Anyway, happy birthday, Jita. That's it for this week. We will be back next week, and we'll talk about things that we have to circle back on, and also look ahead to the mass of things that are happening on the 22nd. So that's the second wave of updates to the game. Um, and yeah, thanks for joining us. See y'all next time. Well, there'll actually be a game to
Later.
play. All right, see y'all.